there, and welcome to the little apartment on the prairie. I am cutting up a bunch of carrots. The tops have started to sprout a little bit, but I'm gonna cook the carrots and Isaac will eat them as part of his meals. So while I'm doing that, I thought we'd talk a little bit about preparing for a second wave of the coronavirus. Now, if you don't think there's gonna be a second wave, or if you think it's not going to come until late fall or winter, or if you think it's not going to be that bad, or if you think we'll have a vaccine before it comes, or better drugs before it comes, let's hope for all those things. But I don't think there's a downside to being prepared. I'm not saying panic about it, but don't panic, but be prepared. Or don't be scared, be prepared, however the saying goes. Because it could happen, and if it does happen, you're going to be really glad that you're prepared for it. If you're prepared. If you're not prepared, you're going to wish you were. So let's just talk about what you can do to prepare for it. So first of all, I've done a bunch of videos a few months ago about preparing, prepping, getting medical supplies, getting food, all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't done some of that basic preparation yet, go back and watch those. I'll put links in the descriptions to a couple of them. I think I did one on like preparing on a budget, or preparing, if you kind of waited to the last minute or whatever. Did I do one on the waiting till the last minute? Anyway, I'll put some links in the description. Go back and watch some of those, because they're good information for now as well, for preparing for the second wave. I'm going to suggest that you spend some time thinking about what you might need over the next 6 to 12 months. And for everyone who's thinking, dear God, tell me it's not going to last another 6 to 12 months, let's hope it doesn't. But let's just take some time to think about what we might need if it does. You see Sassy's butt behind me? There she is, trying to see what she can get into on the stove. Food prices are really going up. There are meat shortages in at least a lot of the U.S. There may be other food shortages. Some may be temporary, some may be longer lasting. And where I live, it's been kind of sporadic. Sometimes there's stuff in the store, sometimes there's not. And I'm not even just food, but like sometimes you can get all the toilet paper you want. Sometimes you can't. A lot of stores around here still have limits on how many packages of toilet paper you can get. But anyway, now is the time to think about what you might need over the next 6 to 12 months, if this goes on that long, just in case. And I'm not saying you have to stock up on 12 months of food, but the price of food is going up. It's probably not going to go down anytime soon. So now would be a good time to get stocked up on food as much as you can. It would also be a good time to get stocked up on paper products like toilet paper, get stocked up on cleaning products. If you can find them, I know things like bleach or Clorox wipes and stuff is, more available in some parts of the country than others. If you can get those things, get them now. Get them anytime between now and the time that a second wave starts, if there is a second wave, at which point they'll become more difficult to get. So if you find those things and you can pick them up, pick them up. Sassy, get out of my carrots. You're a cat. You're not supposed to like carrots, Goofy. She doesn't know cats don't like carrots. So now is, the time to stock up on whatever things you might need that you can get. Don't forget over-the-counter medications. Don't forget pet food. Are there any other pet supplies you need? That kind of stuff, okay? If you don't have a deep freeze, if you're able to get one, this would be a good time because it would let you stock up on a lot of meat. Keep in mind you can also can meat. Usually that's done with the pressure canner, although you can water bath it. You just have to do it for a lot longer. Some people tell you that's not, that you can't water bath it. Look, these carrots starting to grow. But, you know, people have been water bathing things for years before pressure canners ever existed. You just did them for longer times. Look up the safe times to water bath different things. And if you don't know what I'm talking about pressure canning or water bathing, maybe it's a good time to learn to can. So while you're stocking up and thinking about what things you might need, think about skills that might help you. Things like learning to can, learning to sew, or at least learning to mend clothing would be helpful. It would be a really good idea to grow some food if you can. If you don't have the ability to put in a garden where you live, or if it's getting a little late in the season to put in a garden, you know, you can grow some things in pots. For quite a while, I grew sweet peppers in pots in my house. And all winter, well, half the winter anyway, I had fresh sweet peppers from pots in my house. And then I got sassy, and she climbed my pepper plants like they were trees. I mean, they were in big pots. These things were like, you know, they were a couple feet tall. And they were gorgeous. I had 2 of them, and she climbed them like they were trees and destroyed them. But anyway, you can grow a lot. You can grow lettuce. You can grow a lot of things in pots in your window. You can get lights if you need to, you know, grow them more. I have a friend who basically set up a greenhouse in her dining room. It was amazing. She put grow lights in there. Maybe she had heat lamps or heat pads for some of the seeds. I don't know. She had all kinds of things like started to grow. And this greenhouse set up in her dining room. It was awesome. So think of ways that you can grow things indoors if you can't grow them outdoors. Or even if you can grow them outdoors, because then you can grow them all winter. But, you know, you're also going to want to learn to preserve food. A lot of people are getting chickens now. If you live someplace where you can have chickens, that's an awesome idea, as long as you make sure you know how to take care of them and you're willing to commit to taking care of them. I have a friend who has chickens, and she said somebody the other day said to her in surprise, "You mean you have to feed them?" Yeah, they're animals. You got to feed them. Well, apparently this person thought they just ate bugs outside and you never had to feed them. So if you think you don't have to feed chickens, don't get chickens, okay? Seriously, find out how to take care of any kind of livestock you plan to get, and that includes chickens or rabbits or whatever. Make sure you know how to take care of them before you get them. I gotta get some coffee in the morning. I know I'm still got the snowman cup and it's May, but this is like the perfect size cup. A bigger cup, it tends to get cold before I drink it all. This is a perfect size cup. So think about food, medicine, skills that you might need. Think ahead towards holidays. If it's super important to you to have a turkey on Thanksgiving, you might want to buy one well in advance, because there may or may not be plenty of turkeys available on Thanksgiving. Think about if we're in the middle of a second wave, if people are in quarantine again at Christmas time or whatever, what you could do for Christmas gifts. Think about those ahead. I'm not saying you got to go out and do all your Christmas shopping in May, but you could. But plan ahead so you at least kind of know what you'll do if you can't go Christmas shopping in December. Okay? Think ahead. Think ahead about what if kids don't go back to school in the fall, or if they do go back to school and then schools close again. Just run through all these scenarios in your head and kind of make a plan. Part of being prepared, it's not just stocking up food, it's having a plan for how you'll deal with things. If you don't know first aid, maybe you want to find an online first aid course and learn first aid. There's something else I was going to suggest you might want to learn, and now it's gone out of my mind. But just think ahead, plan for what things might happen. It's a good time to learn to bake sourdough bread. It's a good time to learn to bake your own bread, but there is a yeast shortage, so it would be an especially good time I have a lot of friends now who are learning how to do sourdough. You can get a sourdough starter from a friend, or you can learn to make your own online. or get a book. So think about what the next 6 to 12 months might hold and what you can do to prepare for whatever may be to come. If the numbers are down in your state and if restrictions are loosening up, it's a good time to go get any maintenance done on your car that needs done, because it's harder to do that if people are sick or if you're in quarantine. But it's not, some areas of the country are safer than others. Here in Nebraska, our numbers really are going up, not nearly as drastically as in some other places, but we have fewer people than a lot of other states. So per capita right now, we're number 13th in the nation for number of cases, which is pretty high. It's just that we don't have as many people as a lot of states. We have more cows than people. And we don't know if cows can get the coronavirus, but that's neither here nor there. So just think ahead. If you have maintenance on your car that needs to get done, if you have shopping you need to do, you know, when you feel it's safe to do it, do that. Make sure you wear a mask, be as safe as you can. But do prepare. And if it turns out there's not a second wave and you're all stocked up on food, well, then you won't need to do much grocery shopping this fall or winter. And you can use all that extra money that you're not spending on groceries, on Christmas gifts, or whatever else you need at that time. But if there's a second wave, you'll be so glad that you're prepared. Please share your tips down in the comments or ideas that you have for preparing for a second wave. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and stay safe, friends.